Hi guys, welcome to week 4 of Comp 1. Um, this week we have a lot on our plate. I'm giving you a lot of information. We have one writing assignment that's due in a week, and then you'll have a first draft that's due in a week as well. So stay on top of things and be sure that you understand assignments and ask questions and let me know if something isn't clear as soon as possible so you have the most time as possible to do your work well. So this week, our readings and discussion and writings are revolving around the gender theme. So you have some readings and a film, a short film, it's about 30 minutes, to look at, and we'll talk about that in a second. One of the major skills that I'm asking you to look at this week is something that might be familiar to some of you and might be new to some others, is the idea of MLA style citation and in-text citation. So this is when you have a works cited page at the end of your essay that includes, in a very specific format, the sources that you used for your essay. And in-text citation is within your essay when you quote or paraphrase a source, you get information from other places, you include the in-text citation, sometimes called parenthetical citation because it's in parentheses, where you give the author's last name and the page number, or the author's name if there is no page number, or a shortened version of the title if there's no author. So the PowerPoint kind of outlines all of that, and it tells you where to go in your Little Brown Handbook as well for really kind of specific directions and a very long list of how to format all kinds of different sources. That's something that you're going to need to become familiar with in this class, for Comp 2, for any other writing that you do in college. If you get to upper level classes that require APA style or Chicago style, those are in your Little Brown Handbook as well. They're just different styles of citing your information. I made it, well, I was an English major, but I've only really done MLA, so except for a couple of projects that I've worked on recently. So MLA will serve you well. If you're in a class and the instructor doesn't specify what style you need to cite in, MLA is kind of the gold standard in college. So kind of get comfortable with it. But as you'll note in the PowerPoint, I don't expect you to memorize where the colon goes and where the comma goes. Look at examples. Think about it as putting together a puzzle. And when you put together a puzzle, you have the puzzle box right there that has the picture on it. That's your Little Brown Handbook, is have that open, be sure that you know what the final product should look like so you're putting the information together properly. Citation is a very black and white, kind of mathematical part of writing. So some people that's attractive, some people less so. But I encourage you to really kind of understand the concept of why we do this, and that is to show our readers, show our audience where we got information specifically, and how they can find out more if they want to continue to research. So there are very practical reasons that we do it, and it's important to start to learn to do it properly. Integrating quotations within your essay is related to this, of course, because you cite when you do that. I've included a handout that I love that will serve you very, very well if you use it, about how to integrate quotations smoothly into your writing. You can't just plop a quote here and there. They cannot stand alone as a sentence. You need to weave it into your writing and prop it up with your own words. So I've given you some tools to kind of help you do that. So get a good handle on that now, because from here on out, you're going to have to be doing these things in your writing this semester. And if you kind of get a good handle on the concept and some good practices and where to look for more information, that's going to make these essays much easier, and you can focus on the content and creative and critical thought. So go over those. Again, the readings and the short film this week are part of the gender unit. So you'll be thinking about and discussing ideas of gender expectations in our culture, what what it doesn't mean to be a man or a woman in American society. What kind of expectations are there? What does media tell us about what's masculine and what's feminine and what's acceptable for men and women? So you're going to kind of be playing with some of those ideas in the forum. The short film that you'll watch, this is kind of another example of a visual argument. Jean Hilborn is a writer and a speaker, and talks on these issues. She kind of focuses she focuses generally on advertising and the message of media. And here she's focusing on depictions of women in commercials, and she also touches on depictions of men as well. So again, just to kind of get you thinking and get your mind moving, and challenging thoughts you might have, introducing new thoughts into your head, making you think critically about some of these issues. So we'll have some interesting conversations in the forum, I'm sure, about some of these issues. You'll notice also some sources that I posted about writing comparison, writing comparative analysis, and comparing and contrasting. Kind of adds together all of these things that we've been talking about, and your first major piece of composition is going to be an essay in which you are arguing, you're doing a bit of research, and you're also comparing and or probably just contrasting to prove a point. So if you look at the assignment for this first essay, you'll see that you have 3 choices of prompts. You can look at how a product is marketed differently toward men and women. It could be weight loss programs, shampoo, body wash, how some kind of product that you see a commercial for is marketed differently toward men and women. So if you think about the Dove body wash commercials, they're all really life-affirming and trying to make women feel beautiful just like they are, versus the Old Spice ads with the man you wish your man was, or whatever. So think about those differences and what that means. You can also choose to look at how a social construct is marketed differently toward men and women. So it could be motherhood versus fatherhood. It could be sex and virginity, birth control. That's more like a product, but that kind of toes the line. So parenthood in general, what it means to be a husband versus what it means to be a wife. And again, you're going to be gathering media depictions, commercials, films, sitcoms, places that you find how these ideas are outlined to men and women. And the third option is how men and women themselves are marketed differently, whether it's politicians. So, and there's a wealth of information out there about how male politicians and women politicians are treated differently in the news, by the media. Actors and actresses, how news coverage about them is different. The possibilities are almost endless with this assignment, and I hope that you don't just think, oh, I'll choose deodorant because that sounds easy, because there's no fun in that. You want to be able to think critically and say really interesting, compelling things about your choice. So the steps that you're going to take in writing this essay is you're going to first observe, listen to the radio, watch commercials, look up descriptions of films that are out now, or think about some of your favorite films. Look at toy catalogs. How are toys marketed differently for boys versus girls? So you'll kind of do some of that research and gathering ideas. And then you're going to give that meaning. So you're not just going to plop out in your essay, oh, in this toy catalog, girls are sold baby dolls and a cleaning cart, and boys are sold Nerf guns and really active imaginative toys. So you're not just going to kind of plop that down there. You're going to present that evidence, but give it meaning. Make an argument about what it means. Is that harmful? Is it beneficial? What does that mean in our society? in terms of the observations that you've made. And even if you don't agree with some of the things that she says, Jean Kilbourne does that in her speech that you will watch. She is making claims about what these things mean, and that's what you want to do. So again, you're putting together all of these things that we've talked about this semester. Description, you want to be descriptive and specific. Use brand names, use people's names. Describe what you're seeing. You want to make an argument. You want to give it meaning and try to prove something, try to prove a point. And you'll be doing comparative analysis. You'll be looking at how things are different and again, giving it meaning and trying to prove a point. And also the technical aspects of citing your sources properly and using in-text citation properly. So be thinking about this kind of midterm essay assignment as really showing what you've learned so far and trying to kind of make that shine. The first draft of this essay will be due in the peer review forum next Wednesday, July 3rd by noon. And the final draft will be due the following Wednesday at noon on July 10th. So start working on it now. Email me with any questions or thoughts you might have. If you have a topic that you're kind of interested in but you're not sure where to go with it, please email me. I can probably shoot you some sources right off the top of my head and help guide you in the right direction. So please utilize your email and utilize me and ask me any questions. The other short writing assignment you have this week is I've provided you with 2 suffrage speeches. Suffrage is the right to vote, and so these are from the mid to later 1800s when women in America were starting to fight for the right to vote. Women weren't granted the right to vote until 1920. But I provided you with 2 short speeches that women gave. And what I'm asking you to do with this essay is to very briefly research the 2 women. Not Wikipedia, you can use Wikipedia to kind of find better sources if you'd like, but to think about the rhetorical triangle, the speaker or writer, the subject and the audience. So in this case, Sojourner Truth was a freed black slave. She was speaking about women's suffrage to a large crowd of mostly white men and women who largely supported the right of women to vote. Susan B. Anthony, a more well-to-do, well-educated white woman, was giving her speech as a testimony in court because she was arrested and fined for voting. So if you think about the difference in those audiences and the speakers themselves, you can start to find some interesting ideas about those 2 speeches. And then you'll also look at the rhetorical appeals of ethos, pathos, and logos and try to find examples of each. So this is just a very short comparative analysis looking at how they're similar and different and really, again, more digging into the rhetorical appeals. So, and I've also provided a couple of other links that will just be helpful in your writing and thinking about some of these things. And I will look forward to seeing you in the forums and talking more about this. Again, dig in, choose interesting topics, things that you would like to research more about, and please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Have a good week.